Am I live? Yes, I am. Thanks, Restream, for not confirming that I'm live. Anyway, I'm done with you soon enough. Hey, everybody. So today we have an interview, as I promised you, with Mark Cara- Caravaggio. Caravaggio. Mark Caravaggio, owner and founder of Intune Event. So it's going to be a good one. He's in the or event industry, right? So we get to pick his brain a bit. As I said, exposure matters, right? And of course, we're going to be using a breathalyzer today. We're going to have a drink together and we're going to be using a breathalyzer today. So it's going to be a fun evening. Just waiting for him to come on because, yeah, it's supposed to be 6:30, but y'all know me by now. Early bird catches the worm. So let's see. Come in. The link is in the chat. Call if any problems. All right. And are we live on Instagram? I'm not too sure because I can't see it. It won't show it with it from my account. Nope, it won't show it. Does it show? It's not showing it. Hmm. Interesting. When he comes, I'll ask him. Yeah, so today we're going to have a good interview with Mark Caravaggio. I always say Caravaggio, but it's Caravaggio. I'm sorry, Mark, for messing up your name. Caravaggio, not Caravaggio. Caravaggio. And we're going to have a drink. And of course, I don't believe in drinking without eating, right? So, oh, there he is, adding to the stream. Hi, Mark.
Hey, how are you? Pronounce that perfectly.
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was just telling the audience and people who will see it on the playback that it's Caravaggio, not Caravaggio. Caravaggio. That's your last name, right?
That's it.
So we're streaming. We're supposed to be streaming on Instagram. I'm not too sure if you can see it on your Instagram because I can't see it on mine because I'm the host. Can you check for me, please, just to see?
Right,
Does it
right now, I'm
show?
hearing two different conversations.
Okay, so that means it's on there. Then it's working on Instagram. Does it show like not your child corp live? Does it show that?
Oh,
I
I'm
know.
hearing like a repeat.
You're going to repeat. Okay, so maybe I think it is. It should be because I mean I set up the stream for it. It's not showing on my phone at all. And the thing is, I only have one Instagram account, so it's not like I can go and check to see if Not Your Child Corp is live because I am Not Your Child Corp.
Okay.
Let me see.
I'm just going to check on Instagram here.
Yeah.
No, not live on Instagram.
Really? Okay, hold on
No.
1 second. Let me see. Let's see. 1 second.
I don't
Um,
know.
it's showing that I think it's showing as live because it's not even allowing me to go live.
I don't know if this is a normal thing, but everything I keep saying, it keeps repeating back. Like,
Okay, because you're in the that's not normal. You're also turn off all your other devices that you're logged into Instagram or YouTube on. You're just supposed to be here on this stream link right now.
yeah, I only clicked on the link.
Huh. Don't know
It's
why
almost
you're
like it's in there twice or something.
like a delay. Like it's probably in there twice.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you try this? Log out completely. Like don't because maybe you're watching the stream as well as in the stream. So I think you should log out of you're out of Instagram, right? You're not in Instagram?
No.
Okay. I think you should log out of YouTube and just come back and just go directly to the chat and click
Okay.
the link. Let's try that. Yeah. Hi, Brando. Thanks for coming. So today we have an interview with Caravaggio. Mark Caravaggio. Sorry, he's gonna kill me for messing up his name. Mark Caravaggio. So he is one of the event specialists here in Canada, and he is the owner and founder of Intune Events, and they do a lot of upscale events with in the industry. Okay, tell me if you can hear me now, Mark. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, but
It's still okay. Well,
it's like it's playing
it's
the
playing
previous from
twice.
the yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Great.
Is it bothering you that much? Like you
Oh,
don't want to continue, or are we good? Is it really bothering you
yeah,
that
because
much that you
it's just constantly
it's
talking.
okay? Maybe it's because of your headphones.
Oh yeah.
Is it? Maybe. See, let's see. Okay, tell me if you hear the double now. Still, you still hearing the echo?
Not yet. No.
Are you hearing the echo now or? Okay,
No. So maybe
so
it's something with my headphones. Yeah.
yeah, but right now I'm actually hearing the feedback from your headphones. So you need to turn it off. The feedback is like it's maddening right now.
Okay.
So you
Let's
need to
see.
turn off your headphones. Yeah. Hi, Gaza Ricardo. Good night. So today we have Mark Caravaggio, owner and founder of Intune Events. Yeah, I'm hearing that, Mark. Oh my God. I'm hearing that, Mark. Yeah, I'm hearing the double.
Here. Thought I
What?
turned off the headphones.
And now you sound like
And now you sound
slow, like that's why it's good to be early.
headphones aren't
What is
connected.
that? Something's wrong with your sound.
Yeah, I
Do
don't
you have it?
know. Sound.
No, it's terrible over here. Like if you hear it,
No, it's terrible. That's
I'm
what it
hearing the
was
echo and I'm
happening to
hearing
me.
silence here and
Yeah.
that's what I'm hearing. Do you
Not
have any
sure
other
what.
device on the stream?
No, no, I just went on the link
Okay.
and that's it.
And your phone is not on the YouTube? Like, no.
No.
It sounds terrible. Like I can hardly hear you. Okay, you know what? Maybe your headphones replay quality. Your headphones might be better. I don't know. Sorry, Mark. What can I do? We just have to troubleshoot. Yeah, let me see if I can hear now. Can you hear?
Let me see if I can.
I can't hear you at all.
Yeah,
Hi, Rayon Williams. Blessings. So, guys, today we have Mark Caravaggio, and he's the owner and founder of Intune Events. They do a lot of upscale events here in Canada, really great events. So, I'm very excited to expose him to you and to learn more about him. Are you hearing better now, or are you hearing the double still? Pardon?
Perfect now.
I can't hear you. I can't hear a word you're saying. Your lips are moving, but there's no sound. And you see the chat? Even Rayon said it's still cracking. I don't know, Mark. Talk again, Mark. Yeah, no. And I'm not hearing anything. When it talks, it's cracking. Yeah, I know. That's what we're trying to fix right now. And I'm not in anything. It's not from my end.
Could it possibly be twice? Opens up a separate window altogether.
Maybe that's why. The separate window is probably causing the disturbance.
Yeah, like it opens up the outside of YouTube when I click on that link.
He'll come back, guys. He's trying to figure it out. Yeah, so that's what it is. That's why you should always be early to try to figure things out, right? That's what we have to do. Okay, let's see. He's joining the stream again.
So can you hear me okay?
Yes.
So when I click on that link, it brings me into another window.
Right.
I don't know if that's normal. Like it launches in a different
screen.
So far, it sounds great.
So far, so good. You just need to be a little louder. Can you turn up your volume?
It's up as loud as it can go now.
Okay, that's fine. We'll work with it.
Okay.
Don't move. Don't do anything else, okay? Just leave it the way it is.
Okay.
So today we're honored to host Mark Caravaggio, the visionary behind Intune Events. Intune, a premier wedding and special events DJ service based in Southern Ontario. Now, Intune was born from a passion for music and meaningful gatherings. Mark has built a team celebrated for creating transcendent moments, winning accolades like the 2024 Wedding Entertainment of the Year award. And here it's a big thing, especially when you're in Niagara and this is the wedding place to be, right? So that's a huge accomplishment. So from intimate weddings and multicultural celebrations to corporate galas and annual conference parties, Mark and his team bring warmth, creativity, and meticulous attention to detail. Mark and his team serves a wide region, Brantford to Toronto to Niagara. Look it up, it's on the map. Always driven by the mission, help you have the wedding people will talk about for years to come. So today we'll deep dive into his journey, his vision, and what it takes to succeed in the event industry. Mark, hello there.
My goodness. Take a breath, Julie.
I'm a writer. I am. I know. That is my past. That's my pastime. I love writing these things. Yeah. So today, guys, we're gonna have a drink as well. So, Mark, first before we start the interview, what are you drinking? And what are you and what are you eating if you're eating anything?
I just ate actually. I
Okay.
just ate.
What did you have?
So I had a like a quinoa bowl, like kind of like
Okay.
a stir fry quinoa bowl.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what I'm drinking here.
What's that?
Nice local specialty
Oh,
hazy IPA from the lovely Silversmith Brewery. And
Silver Spoon Brewery. Yeah. Great.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well,
So
I'm gonna have, I have my snifter here. So I'm gonna have my Southern Comfort neat. Just a double shot.
okay,
Neat.
okay.
Southern Comfort. And today I didn't eat that much, so I made myself, let me see, dip,
Oh my,
cucumbers, and crackers and pita. I made the dip, and the dip is, listen, it deserves a moment of silence. The dip that I
I
made, okay,
wish
and
I
then
had
of course I,
the dip.
and then of course I have my cheese because I love cheese, and I have some
Right,
water. So, but today I didn't eat that
lovely.
much, but I had protein shake, and I had a chicken salad, more chicken than salad, but that's it. But it was very small. So tell me, are you rested? Do you feel like as if you've been rested this week, or yeah?
Yeah, generally yes. Yeah,
Okay,
it's been a decent week of rest, I would say.
good, good. So
Yeah.
how this is going to work is we're going to have
Hmm.
a drink while we talk. And then
Okay.
after we finish the last sip of our drink, we're going to put the timer on for 20 minutes.
Okay.
This is my handy little sand timer, which I love. Days of Our Lives, sand timer. And
Yes.
then we're you remember that? You remember that show?
Oh, I do. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna see where we are with the breathalyzers, okay? But I'm gonna be
Yeah.
eating, munching while I'm drinking, okay? So
Love it.
crack yours open too.
I just poured it here,
Oh, you did?
so I'm
Okay, good.
all ready for you.
You're ahead of me. You're ahead of the game. So I'm just gonna do a double shot, and that would be enough for me. All right, let's get started. So, Mark,
Yeah.
what moment or experience sparked your passion to turn your love for music and connection into in tune events?
Whew. Say the first
Oh,
part of that
cheers, first of
question
all.
again.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
Say the first part of that question again, Julia.
What
What sparked
moment or
my passion?
experience
Hmm.
sparked your passion to turn your love for music and connection into in events? I'm here. I'm just going to plug in my
Yeah.
computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great question. Um, I think it's a combination. Like this is something that was a passion project for me on the side when I used to be in my corporate career. So it was a combination of, what do I want for my future?
Yes.
And also, coming to that, I think a lot of people come to that fork in the road where, you can either choose to go the rest of your life in that same direction where you're not really excited to wake up and drive to work and do the kind of corporate thing and that's ultimately what it was. Is I just got to the point where I needed a change, and I was already doing this, albeit more as a passion project, and I just decided that I needed a big change in my life, and I quit my old life, and this was back in 2011. So
Wow.
I literally quit my old life and started pursuing this full time right out of the chute. Very unconventional approach.
You know what? It's funny that you said quit my old life. I love that you said that
Yeah.
because a book that we were doing, yeah. Because on this channel, on the YouTube channel, look what we were doing. We're talking about what it takes to build a new life. And basically she was saying, burn your sails. Your new life is gonna cost you your old life,
Mm,
right? And sometimes that means where you used to go, the way you used to think, who you used to be around, etc. Right? So
Yeah.
that takes a lot of bravery to be able to burn your sails like that. So this wasn't in here. This wasn't in the questions. But since you said that, let me ask you,
Hmm.
what fears came up for you? Because a lot of entrepreneurs, they're tuning into this channel, and a lot of them they love music and they want to start their own businesses, right? So
Yeah.
what fears did you what came up for you that almost stopped you, but you pushed through?
I think the big thing, I mean, I was living in Toronto at the time. So the big thing was obviously money,
Money.
it's that situation where, am I going to be okay? Will I have the type of support that I need to build this life? I think I was a little bit naive. I didn't really know what I was getting into. And I think that helped actually.
Yeah.
So I've always been a risk taker. So there was that balance of, no problem, I'm going to quit my old life, as I said, and do this. But if I had really known the sacrifices that I was making, I might have thought twice. Like I really gave up a lot. Both the first thing was the financial part. There's a big, big loss initially when you're pursuing your dreams, but um, you put in that hard work and it comes back around. So
Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, yeah. And I've heard that a lot from a lot of different entrepreneurs. They always say that because we do have that thing inside of us where the optimism, and we're
mm,
not averse to risk,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
you know, we say, okay, it's gonna work, and then we work ourselves to make it work.
mm.
So that is my common thread, as a common thread. So that lesson would be to everyone that the fears that you're feeling when you want to start something is normal. Everybody is unsure. Everybody has those fears, right? When it comes on to security. So if you still, if you really want it, then go ahead. You look like you
And I
wanted to say something.
Well, I think the other big piece, because I didn't want to make it seem like it's just about the financial. I
Of
think the
course, yeah,
initial part, especially if you have a family,
yeah,
you're in a committed relationship, you've got a mortgage, like there's a lot of factors at play. So I think a lot of times financial really does stop people from pursuing their dreams. But the other side of that, which I think I learned much later, um, is how much are you defined by your career?
right,
And so giving that up, and in my old career I had done that for I think 12 years altogether. So you get sucked into this life where you can be defined in part
yeah,
by your career. And so giving that up, and it really, you kind of touched on it, that you feel like you're rebuilding that. So it's like, who am I? It really challenges everything about you,
really,
because
oh God,
you're
yeah,
letting all that go, right?
letting all
So
that go.
yeah, but it's a
Yeah,
beautiful, rewarding journey. Like you have to really embrace that journey
yeah,
in order to the unknown, right? And discover the new you.
yeah. Blessings, Merkaba. Merkaba is another entrepreneur as well, and
Oh, fantastic.
he has been a very, very good friend and brother to me. No,
Okay.
but you know what? That you said that, Mark. Oh my goodness, I was talking to my friend. She's going through a divorce.
Mm,
She was a very, really good attorney. Her husband is also attorney. Her husband made partner, right? She always felt like she was, skimmed over, right?
mm,
Her heart wasn't in it for the past 7 years. And she's really good at writing, right?
mm,
So she and I click in a lot of ways. So she wants to start, writing, right? And that is the battle that she has, and she's been having for the past 2 years now. um, to where now that kind of caused the split with her and her husband, because she's telling me that, Julia, it's like he has an image of me being a lawyer and us as a couple being a power lawyer couple,
mm,
right? Um, but and I tried going on my own with private practice because she really hated the corporate structure and being in that firm, right? Especially being passed over, right? He loves it because he made partner, right?
Mm.
And it's been, well, I mean, this is her side, right? And she's a fair person, so I believe everything. I believe what she says, right? And she's always been fair. But so now she says that it's an identity crisis,
Mm.
whereas her parents, her friends, and now she's seeing a lot of things that she surrounded herself with crumble away, including people who liked to attach themselves to the importance of her career and her name,
Right. Mm.
right? And even like one of her dearest friend who was there at her wedding said to her, you're just gonna be just a writer. And she said that she couldn't believe it because this girl knew her since probably middle school, right?
Mm.
And always loved her writing and said that she's great at writing. But now that so she's feeling the being ostracized even from her clubs and stuff that she used to go to, because she can feel the energy. And I said, well, maybe it's because of the fact that you're going through a divorce and people know. So people probably, you're probably feeling that energy. Maybe it has nothing to do with your writing career, so don't think about it that way, because you're building up more resistance to what you
Mm.
want. But apparently it is a big, it's a big crisis, identity crisis, when it go when, as you say, her career became part of her identity, right?
Mm.
So and she has very few people that she communicates with now. I'm one of them. And she always says to me, Julia, what I love about you is that you're fresh every morning. It's like you don't see me, you don't have a past of me that you think of.
Mm.
You're just like whatever she shows up as today. So yeah, because that's life is dynamic, right? Anyhow, we're just talking. But
Yeah,
that
that's
is,
beautiful.
yeah, that's a thing. So the point of the matter is, when you decide to make that leap, it's okay to feel the inner conflict, and
Yeah.
everybody goes through it, right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when
And
you
I
talk to people who want to be entrepreneurs, Mark, a lot of them, it's like they think that they're alone, like they're the only, like if it doesn't feel, you know what I mean, like they feel like they're the only ones having this resistance, so they feel like
right.
everybody else makes it look easy, so maybe I'm wrong, and it's not, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes that resistance comes right within your family,
Can
you
I
know.
tell you? Child, don't start with me. Can I tell you, my, oh my goodness. All right, let's get to we can talk forever. So let's do the questions, right?
Yeah.
So your or story page, guys, make sure that you go and check out his website. You can drop the link of your website in the chat as well. Your or story
Mm.
page, it emphasizes fine details and human connection, which you're good at, Mark. How did focusing on those elements shape your reputation early on?
Mm. I think part of it was based on my history of being in client care, like customer service. Both of my parents kind of forged that for me. So I think it became natural for me. I was always looking for human connection. And so when I was creating this business, that I think maybe some people can relate to this. When you create, in my case, I'm on my second version of my brand, but when I created my first version, I was really flying by the seat of my pants, and so I didn't really know. I knew what I felt and what I wanted in that connection, but that wasn't necessarily put out into the world. That came way later, and so that was really just through my own experience and through my own evolvement, and going through something like COVID as well, where you're forced to go introspective and really connect with those things that matter to you and say, you know what, like, let's get more authentic and let's put out that type of energy that is meaningful to me. It's okay to put that out there in a business format as well. Now, that
Yeah,
didn't exist as much in the past.
right.
That came, 5 years ago or so. So,
But you know what, though, Mark? Hats off to you, because that shows that you're always assessing,
mm,
and that's something that will keep you growing. You know what I mean?
that's
Like
it.
stagnation and not assessing and just thinking that, oh, it works. That's not, it doesn't break. It's not broken. You don't know. Right. So that's great.
Yeah.
Hi, TG Media. Greetings. Greetings. And thanks for coming. See, a lot of these people, they have businesses, right? And they want to start off with the entrepreneur. They don't know how to make the leap from their actual job to actually starting. So you can start anywhere. Okay, so
Yeah.
how do you maintain consistent service and energy across such a varied team, right? Like to make sure that all your events feel authentically in tune.
Yeah. First of all, attracting the right type of clients. I think that's a big problem when you first get in business, because there's a bit of that scarcity mindset where you're willing to take any business that you get because you want to build that reputation, you want to get those sales coming in, right? So
Yeah,
but yeah, when you get to that point of authenticity and you're really comfortable in your skin and you can put out the type of energy that you want, it's building that type of energy like you touched on before in your marketing materials, on your website and your blog posts, everything that allows you to connect with the right type of humans. And once you do that, that sets you on a path of, they're understanding your energy and what makes you tick. And once that initial process happens, then it's making sure I'm doing my job as a business owner, which is, being a leader, not a boss, but a leader. And that to me
exactly.
is, it's a human first selection process in my business.
Yeah,
And that's what allows for consistency. I can put anyone from our team, attach them to any type of client, and we're going to have a consistent human first process. The
yeah,
technical skills might be different from event to event, right? And we
yeah,
adapt as necessary, but the human skills are what allows us to be consistent. And that's right from the first connection all the way through to the last, dance at an event.
true.
Hugely
Yeah,
important. And that's taken a long time too for me to get to that point of proper leadership.
yeah, yes. Um, and that's one thing too that I always contemplate. Like we say, what keeps you up at night type of thing. Because
Mm,
I handpick my texts, and they're such great human beings, Mark. Like they're really, like I'm really proud to even know them as people, right?
mm,
And they all have their smart serve, yeah, but they're all people, and they all have discretion. Like there's certain things that you. So what keeps me up is thinking, okay, when we get to that bridge of actual growing, right, or even what I want to do. I don't want to say too much about franchise, right? How do I keep that quality of the human, that standard of human connection that we have right now? Whereas, we
mm,
get good reviews, people really love us, right? From the events that we've done, right?
mm,
Like how do we keep that? Because as you expand, you're not gonna have as much of a hold or control in the process, right?
mm,
And maybe every time when you think about these quotes that say like there's always a sacrifice, right? So I'm wondering and I'm thinking like, as I grow, as I see in the future, because we're very future tense, we see far down the road, like what is it that I'm going to have to sacrifice for that growth, right?
mm.
And right, you know what I mean?
Yes, I sure do.
Yeah,
All the sacrifices for sure. Yeah, and it's a different journey for everyone, right? I know I
yeah,
sacrificed a lot,
yeah,
including my health and friends and
yeah,
stuff. But I didn't know. When you don't know, right? It's kind of like it depends what priorities you put in your life and where you're at and
yeah.
the
I've
dynamics
sacrificed a
of
lot already to be here
yeah,
too. Yeah, and
yeah,
I'm not even where I want to be yet, Mark, at
yeah,
all,
yeah.
right? But like there's always, but it's worth it though, because
Yes.
I can sleep with myself. I can actually look at myself in the mirror. You know what I mean? Like I
It's
can
called
say like,
integrity, right?
right? Like
Yeah.
I can actually say, there is no shadow there saying, well, you didn't really do this. You didn't
Mm,
try this. You know what I mean? Like I can actually rest knowing that if I fail,
mm,
you know it's because of alignment or something is protecting me from something. It wasn't because of lack of effort or lack of being open to learn. You know what I mean?
yes.
And we don't talk about if we fail. That's not in the cards.
Yeah.
Not in the, not in the cards. All right. Winning the wedding entertainment of the year twice is a massive, massive achievement. How did you build a service that stands out in such a competitive industry? As I said, we're here, we're in Niagara, everybody gets
Mm,
married here, right?
mm.
So many upscale events here. How do you do it? Like, how did you build a service that stands out in a competitive industry like what you'd have?
I think it just goes back to how I kind of built my entire work life. It always started with client care. So when I was creating my business in the first place, I wasn't thinking about the money. I was thinking about the investment of time, energy, who I'm surrounding myself with, how I'm putting myself out into the community, that kind of a thing. And I was actually born and raised in Guelph. So when I first created my business, it was in that area, in that region, so to speak. So I really put myself out into the community and was focused on, letting everyone know that I'm here to service them and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get my name out there. That was the ultimate sacrifice that I made. And it paid dividends quicker than what I realized. And I think it was also seeing that didn't really exist in that market at that time when I was building my business. So that type of energy that I put was new and something different, and I just kept going with that, and it kept evolving over time, really all the way through to expanding into Niagara region, which has been a beautiful adventure so far.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's the consistency and commitment to client care, along with a good system in place that is taking care of clients. That's what it's all about. And that, I think many people can relate to that in different industries and different businesses, I feel.
Yeah, systems in place.
Yes.
That is very, 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 very important. I remember I've learned many lessons from not realizing that I needed to have certain systems,
Mm,
right? And
yeah.
I found I was working harder than I needed to because of the fact that I didn't have proper systems in place, you know,
Yeah.
um, for like even say client care, when it comes to like say breweries buying, this is like even from before, breweries buying like the single use breathalyzers and then not having a, like of course have a, because we have such a good relationship, not really having a follow up, whereas do you want more, you see what I mean,
Mm,
type of thing. But and so I was visiting, you know, in person, and I could have been more strategic when it
yeah.
comes to that. So um we constantly learn on the better ways, the better way to do things,
Yeah.
right?
Well, that's it. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, it's just being open to that, I think, is a huge plus, right? I think a lot of businesses, and I hear this a lot because I'm so focused on client care. I hear this a lot about, I think in the creative world, a lot of people want to put so much energy into the creative world, but also being creative isn't met maybe the same sometimes when you don't feel taken care of. So I think, there
Yeah.
needs to be a nice balance of we want to be unique and creative in our pursuits, but at the end of the day, that that might not mean the same way if clients aren't maybe appreciated or met where they're at. I think especially when you work in a stressful industry, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes business owners don't want to take on that what
Yeah.
seems like stress. Where I'm more about let's get ahead of that and, you know, prevent that stress from occurring, you know,
Right.
and you need to have systems in place in order to do that. Otherwise, you're waiting for the client to come to you when they have an issue,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And I come across it all the time, from my doctor to, you know, where I take my car. Like, I see this all the time. Like, it's really interesting in different industries how client care is met. It's wildly all over the place.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, my client care is good because of the one-on-one, but
Yeah.
I didn't have the system for it to have the one-on-one with many people. See what I mean? Because
Yes.
as your client base grows, I mean, you can't travel to every brewery all the time. So
Mm.
you should find a way to keep in touch with them, right? And stay top of mind. But then
Yeah.
whenever they see me, it's, oh, Julia, the breathalyzer girl. Or you go into the brewery and they're like, Julia, which Julia? The breathalyzer girl. So that's why I got that name, actually, right? Because everybody
Yeah.
started calling me the breathalyzer. And Mark, I hated that name so much. I hated it so much. I hated it so much. I was like, breathalyzer girl. I'm being reduced to the breathalyzer. But then it stuck, and I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll be breathalyzer girl. No problem.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What's the most are you drinking? I don't see you drinking.
I'm drinking. I
Are
got it
you?
right here. Oh, yeah.
Okay. What's the most important lessons you learned from that
Mm.
recognition about your brand, your team, and your clients?
When you say recognition, you mean like winning awards, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
So what's the lesson that I've learned about
Yeah.
that?
What's the most important lesson you learned from the Wedding Entertainment of the Year awards that you
Yeah.
got twice?
Yeah.
What's the most important lesson you learned from that recognition from that those awards about your brand, your
Mm.
team, and your clients?
This might be an unexpected answer, but for me, what I've learned over years is that I'm not in business to win awards. And I
Yeah,
think I'm a big sports guy, for example, right? So you'll
yeah,
see different athletes in the world win an award, and you know, sometimes, you know, they'll make comments like that, or actors when they win awards, like at the
yeah,
Academy Award, you know, and they'll say stuff like that. I'm not in it to win awards, but it's nice, you know, that kind of a thing. I think, you know, it's lovely to get the recognition, but again, for me, it's what drives me every single day. You know, I think in the moment it feels nice to win the awards, but at the end of the day, those awards go away, and then there's another one that comes the next year, the year after, or whatever, and awards come and go, but it's your commitment to, you know, what do you really want out of the industry that you work in. And
yeah,
I was very aware not to get sucked into that award winning mentality where that's all I'm putting out. Like, winning awards is going to get me all of this business, you know.
yeah,
That was a big learning point for me, because it is always nice to get some sort of recognition, but um, for me, it's, you know, it's from our clients, from our industry peers, and it comes back to that connection. How are we connecting every single day to do better and be a better human? You know,
yeah.
that's what it's about to me. So it's a bit of a long-winded answer around that,
No,
but
it
it's
makes
a bit
sense.
that, yeah.
It makes sense because that way it stays fulfilling.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
it stays fulfilling and new. I like that.
That's it. It's got
Okay,
to be
so
meaningful.
yeah, meaningful, right?
Mm.
Meaningful, and we're all searching for meaning.
Yes.
The process includes consults, online portals, and
Mm.
unlimited client care. What
Mm.
inspired that level of planning and communication? Well, you did kind of answer it, but I'll let you answer it again. What inspired that level of planning and communication? You're talking about how important it is to client care and
Mm.
to actually make people feel important, right?
Yeah.
So
It
you kind of
was it
answered
was
that.
it was definitely an evolvement over time, because when I first set up my business, it was just me doing everything. And so, you know, a lot of times when DJs set up a business, you're just winging it. and you're really focused on doing the events, but you're not maybe putting the same energy into the client care. But right from the beginning, I was all about client care. It's just that it got to the point where I was getting busier, I was growing, and I needed to add to the team. I needed to add some extra support on our team. And so it was just something that evolved over time. I kind of got to a point where it's like, I either have to add extra systems in place or add extra humans on our team to provide that additional support, um, or I'm not going to, you know, provide that type of elevated service. I think so. In me, that's built in, having
Yeah.
that client care approach. But as far as having the systems in place, the consults were always something that was super important to me right from the beginning. And I continue to connect first with clients. But it's bringing in the additional support. Like now we've got Jennifer, who's a beautiful planner on our team, very
Mhm.
detailed, or you
Really.
mentioned meticulous planning. So this is what allows us to elevate that experience. But that just happened with time. It's kind of your business grows, and then it's kind of okay, instead of me focusing on adding extra things or hopping on trends, my mentality is, how can we do our business at a elevated, like how can we do our what we do now but better, at a more
Yeah,
elevated,
but better.
providing
Elevated.
more client care to our clients. So every year we're adding more and more. A lot of this is behind the scenes, to be honest with you. Just
Yeah.
resources and extra support for our couples, because we work in a stressful industry for couples. So we want to always be attentive to how we can streamline those processes. So
Right.
it's been a beautiful evolvement over time in doing that. It's very focused on streamlining those systems over time.
Yeah. Huh. I
Mhm.
like that. Hmm. All right. Well, for first time event planners that are tuning in, what should they expect when they work with a pro like Intune, like you? What should they expect?
I think the overriding thing is professionalism. So this, I work with a lot of planners, and this is the overriding conversation that I have. What is it that sets apart one company from the next? And that's the thing, professionalism. And that covers off so many different factors in your business, but it's how you talk to someone, how responsive you are, um, how the type of energy that you're putting out at your events. And you know I think the biggest thing with professionalism in a business like ours is, I can say anything out of my mouth, but what if I am telling you something that should be true once event day comes? So it's what you say needs to match, you know
Mm-hmm.
later on down the road, right? So it's not,
Yeah.
it's again client care focused, taking care of the clients, not sales
Not
focus,
sales
if that
focus.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not just saying something for the sake of getting the sale. It's saying it for the sake of, we're taking care of you. This is
We're
what we're
taking care of
doing.
you. Right.
But if I'm saying something and it's not coming true, or it doesn't match to the energy that I'm putting out, that's going to come back to me, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I need to be very careful about the energy that I add to our team. It needs to match to human first approach.
Yeah. And that is the reason why that question keeps me up at night.
Mm.
You know? Yeah. I definitely I see that and I agree with that. It's all people. It's always people. What I like to do is under promise and over deliver. That's my trick.
That's
I
it.
like to do that.
I like that.
I like
That's
to
a
do
that,
that.
that's a classic phrase, and I love that when
Hmm.
you talk about client care, right? It's, I don't give a strict breakdown to our clients of,
Right.
this is the timeline. It's just, you're going to be taken care of. We'll check in with you soon. And so a lot of times they don't realize that we're reaching out, but we've got a system to reach out. So it's very rare that clients are reaching out to us, when they're, you know not hearing from us first. It's just the nature of what we do. We're ahead of that
We're ahead of that.
thinking. Yeah.
Hmm. Um, Proactive and
Mm.
anticipating other people's needs.
Yeah.
You have to have that if you're going
Absolutely.
to be good in hospitality. You know what? This wasn't on
Yeah.
the question list, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Mm.
Um, so you remember your work before, right? What have you what skills crossed over to where
Yeah. A lot.
what you were a lot, eh? Go ahead, tell
Mm.
us. Mm-hmm.
So I was a corporate software trainer previously.
Mm-hmm.
So my role was first and foremost to take care of clients. I needed to make sure that they were um, doing their job in the most efficient manner in whatever corporate job. They could be an engineer, they could be an admin clerk, or whatever. Anyone within a company. They could be the CEO of a company or
Mm-hmm.
president's assistant or something like that. So I would do training sessions with big corporate clients, big recognizable companies. It could be one-on-one with the president, or it could be with a classroom of 400 people at a company doing a big presentation. But yeah, the passion and the delivery needed to be there so I could connect, and I needed to kind of have a streamlined system to bring these people on a journey to make their life easier, removing stress from their day-to-day lives. It's very much a crossover to what I do. And I think the biggest crossover, because I was in the software business, a big part of what we do as running a DJ and an event planning business is software. You know,
Yeah.
DJs are running off specialty DJ software at events, and we use several different pieces of software to help everyone's life, ours and clients. And I really believe in it because I've seen that for so many years prior, how it really reduces stress in the experience. Like a beautiful planning website that we provide for our clients, this is something where I'm meticulous in how that's structured. And we have systems in place to basically give training sessions to these pieces of software to make sure our clients are feeling seen and supported. I feel like that's a huge crossover from what I did before. That's where I got that from. You know,
Mm.
it's pretty cool. And it
It's
wasn't
pretty cool.
necessarily intentional. I think it's relatable. It's
It's
something that I
relatable.
was able to carry over. It really helped. So it's
Yeah.
funny how, like, when you think back on your life and you've done different jobs,
Yes.
when you somehow they're related.
Somehow that's what I was about to say, Mark. Like somehow you follow the breadcrumbs and all the dots
Yeah.
connect. Like honestly,
Yes.
all the dots connect because I'm still using things from my previous jobs, right?
Mm.
And even from what I'm good at, like writing, all the copy, all the brand work, because I did advertising copywriting post grad
Ah.
at Humber, right?
Okay.
Right. So even with that, and before when I first came to Canada, right, when I was going through Humber, I actually was serving. I was a server. I served at Moxie's and then I served at the keg. So even
Okay.
that with the client care and understanding drinks and brack and having the smart serve, all of
Mm.
that tied in, right? And I find
Yeah.
myself using a lot of the skills from my talents from before,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
With the business now. So a lot of times things will cross pollinate and you know how they always say knowledge is never wasted. You
Mm.
find yourself using certain things and remembering certain things, even patent law, because before that I was actually working at a law firm as a patent clerk, right?
Mm.
So all of that, so it's like everything ties in, and it really is a journey, Mark.
Mm.
It
Yeah.
really is a journey, you know. All right, you serve a huge region from Toronto to Waterloo and beyond. How
Mm.
do you scale quality and intimacy across multiple markets? How do you do that?
It's a great question. I think I wasn't in a rush to build my business. So, like I said earlier in the conversation, I was born and raised in Guelph. And Guelph actually didn't have a great market for the events industry. And what I mean by that is we're heavily driven based on beautiful venues that we can entertain in. And, Guelph has some golf courses, a few banquet halls, that kind of a thing, but, fairly basic in what it offered to the industry kind of thing. So we naturally ended up doing a lot of surrounding area events just by nature of who we naturally attracted and the venues that we were connected to. So that was kind of the first thing that I learned in the industry is even though you might build it in a city, that city might not be the main focus of your business. It's going to come based on your type of clients and where they are, getting married or doing their event. So that was a really interesting learning path for me. And what I learned is that I could potentially live in a different city and then have, work in different regions. So that was something that grew over time where I started in a small area, Guelph, and then the Tri-City area, which is Cambridge, Kitchener, Waterloo. And then it just kind of naturally expanded from there as my business grew. What I learned is that I could have different members of our team live in some of these different areas as our business grew to service those areas. And
Yeah.
so it didn't matter so much where I lived, it's where we naturally were serving our clients based on, how my business grew and who we connected with. A lot of it, again, is just driven on venues. And the same when I came into Niagara region, it was kind of, is it scary that I kind of expanded into the region? Not really, because I've done that before in that it's just a slow expansion into different areas. So having the right type of people in different areas to service has really been super helpful for me. And part of that is because I being a DJ is not an easy job.
Right.
They're long days and you've got to be on. And what I learned in the business is that I want to think about what the DJ might be going through. They have a family, they have kids. These are long days. They might not be getting as much sleep as some others, kind of thing. So part of that is I don't want DJs to travel all over Southern Ontario for doing each event. So that's a big thing for me, trying to match to the right type of people in different areas that they can service, so they can have less travel time. That's a big part of what we do.
Okay. Understood. Okay, so I'm gonna be mindful of the time because right now it's 7:13. I know you
Yeah,
only committed to an hour, so we started at 6:30, but I'm
yeah.
going to end. Okay, well, when you're finished, I don't want you to chug. But when you're finished,
No,
we
no.
just do the 20-minute timer. Are you good for
Yeah,
time? Are you okay
yeah.
for time?
All
Okay, good.
good.
I just wanted to make sure because I'm okay for time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but okay. So let me ask you something. A follow-up question with that. Okay, so we had an event last year in Picton, right? And
Mm,
of course, Picton, no buses, no Uber, right? No taxis really. And it
yeah.
was a big event, barn event and stuff like that, right?
Mm,
Um, so yeah, I did have a tech live near there. The
yeah.
issue for me was getting the equipment there. So I actually had to go
Yeah.
there, right? So
Yeah.
that's a process that I tried to figure it. And I said to myself, well, Julia, what I'm gonna have to do is when we have these events far out, we're gonna have to UPS the devices, the breathalyzer, the booth,
Mm,
the calculator that's going to calculate where they are by the end of the night. We have to
mm,
UPS it out to a UPS location, have them pick it up, right? Use it, and then after that, send it back to the UPS location so that I can pick it up, right?
mm,
Um, but then there is all these other steps complicate things. It worked fine. Luckily, we didn't have that many events there. But
mm.
what were your, if you don't mind telling us,
Yeah.
what were your hiccups with that?
What challenges with like moving equipment into different
Yeah,
areas?
yeah, because I know DJ
So
equipment is like
yeah.
extremely.
So there's two different systems that we have on our team actually. So it's a very mobile business. So it's very interesting. So I've got a base kind of storage facility where I keep all of any equipment that might be needed. This is why we also put in meticulous planning, because everything that we need for the event, the DJ can go to the storage facility, pick up everything they need. Every wedding or event that we do is a little bit different in what's required. So everything is really meticulous in what's needed. So that's the first thing. We have some DJs that have everything too that they need. So different DJs do different types of events, and some are self-sufficient. They've got everything that they need, and then others use our owned equipment. So we kind of have two systems in place, and some allow for a more kind of upgraded or elaborate or bigger celebration of sorts. So if you need more equipment, or you've got, 800 guests, I mean, you're going to need extra gear, right? So that's why we've got a facility that, DJs can go to and they get everything they need. And other DJs, if they're just doing more basic events, like smaller, like 80 to 100 person events, we do a ton of, they're pretty self-sufficient. They've got everything they need. So it's we've got a couple different systems in place, and this is why we're so careful with how we plan things, because we know every member on our team, what they have, what they need, where they live. We're very meticulous in that approach, to make sure that we don't have systems of confusion, and they're showing up to venues without stuff that's it's very, very meticulous. So this is why I have a wedding planner on my team.
Right.
For that reason. Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. I need one.
You need one of those?
I said that out loud, eh? No, because I'm absorbing everything.
Jen on me. Don't you steal her. She's amazing.
No, I would never. Me? I would never. Because I'm learning. I'm soaking up everything from you, Mark. I love to learn from other people's experience. Right? It's not been an easy road for me. Lots of battles, but it's worth it because I believe in it, and not only that, but the people are happy with us. You know what I mean? And that was I got a someone told me how wonderful one of the products was the other day, and I was like, that will fuel me for the next 6 months. You know what
there
I mean?
You go.
It just right. So all right, let's continue. Beyond weddings, you also support corporate events with tailored atmospheres. What approach do you take to capture different brands and cultures?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think so. I had to learn on the fly for this one as well, because when I first got into business, I wasn't sure what area I was going to be going, because as a DJ, you could be heavily focused in one of these areas. Some specialize in karaoke, or some might specialize in doing proms, that kind of a thing, right? For me, it was very quickly weddings and corporate. And so I had to learn as my business grew, what was required for weddings isn't necessarily required for corporate. So there's less details with corporate, but still the same approach with client care, in that we get ahead, because with corporate, we really get the busy factor involved. So our connections at these companies are so super busy, and they rely on us to reach out to them to connect and make sure that, we're giving them everything that they need, and anything that we need for their events, we're going to, deliver. So it's ramping up that communication and making sure that it's detailed, but still we're in the background a little bit. So it's much less hands-on with corporate. It's more just having the conversation surrounding, things like, is there a special theme for your event? What can we do to make your experience memorable? We're going to collaborate in that experience. But it's much different to a wedding, because with a wedding, it's very much a journey over months and months and months and months. and things are constantly changing and
Changing.
evolving. Where with corporate, it's like this buildup where they book you, and then 2 months before, kind of thing, all of a sudden it's like the ears are up, and it's
Yeah.
oh, it's coming up soon, kind of thing. So it's just being attentive, because again, the organizers are so busy, and there's a lot of pressure on them, and there's a lot of moving parts. So it's just, I think, working in corporate helped that I'm not being overly involved. I'm there, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of meeting them where they're at, and it's not an incredible amount of detail. It's just more focused on the uniqueness of that. And you had mentioned about the culture. Growing up in Guelph, it's a very much a manufacturing city, and there's a
Mm.
lot of cultures embedded into these manufacturing plants in Guelph.
Yeah.
And it makes our life really interesting, actually, because they'll give us information as far as what their employees would expect at these parties, and it's super interesting for us. It's a beautiful challenge to not have to just go in and, okay, we're playing a wide variety of music. It's more than that. It's about, again, making people feel seen, that you know connecting somehow with their culture, even though we're not from their culture. So it's putting in that little bit of extra effort to make sure that we're going to take care of them. And
Right.
it's just at a different level. That happens with weddings too, but it's just a little bit more sensitive in nature with corporate,
With
I think,
yeah. Understood.
because you might get 400 or 600 people showing up at an event, and if 25 or 30% of that workforce is of different, let's say South Asian culture, for example, we need to be prepared for that. What are the expectations? So I don't like to assume anything in business. I
Right.
really learned that way. Like, it's understanding what are the needs and what is important, and really listen to what they want and what they've experienced in the past or not experienced, so we can make a difference in their lives.
In their
You know.
experience, yeah.
Mm.
Okay. This was not in the questions, but I gotta ask you. All right. So you see, like in my line of work, I get sent stuff about breathalyzers, because we get our breathalyzers produced by the same people who make the breathalyzers for the police force. Only them. I don't take breathalyzers from anybody else. Um, so we get sent of new stuff, trying different things, etc., etc. There's been so much change in technology, Mark. How do
Mhm.
you keep up with that when it comes to the software, and when it comes to everything is AI now, when it comes to all of these systems that you incorporate? What do you do? How do you do it? And is it like super uber expensive to keep up to date? And are there, I'm asking a lot of questions, are there trends that you're just like, okay, that's a trend, it's not going to last, move on from that,
Mhm.
and let me just
Yeah.
stick to this system here? Just tell us all about it.
It's a great question,
Yeah.
because, like, for example, if I want to think about, like, when you do a Google search in any industry, that's changed in how AI is getting fed to us now. And I just noticed the other day on Instagram, now Instagram has started with the AI, right? So they're giving you kind of summary captures of things that you're searching for in that
Yeah.
platform. So I think the big thing for me, and this is how I generally carry myself in business, is I'm very aware that things are constantly evolving. I think this is the thing when you work in an events industry, events are constantly evolving. And, like, I remember for years people have been saying photo booths aren't going to last. This is just a trend,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But
They're still
they've
here.
just they're not only still here, they've just evolved into, now there's the 360 photo booths, and I
Yeah.
think AI will play a factor in that as well, right? So there's more custom booths, and just the cool factor has elevated, right? So it's just, coming out. I've kind of taken the standpoint, and this kind of relates to AI, that I do not jump on trends. What really challenged me on that was COVID, because
Yeah. Yeah. I was
during
gonna ask
COVID,
that.
there's a lot of business. All of your income gets stripped away. There's no events happening. So it's like, okay, should we hop on this trend to get some money in for 6 months? But that trend might not exist when you come out of COVID, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I chose not to hop on that trend. That's not really part of who we are. We don't hop on trend. There's
Right.
certain trends that'll be lasting and there's certain things that will evolve over time. I
Yeah.
think with AI, I'm aware that it's evolving so fast that it's not so much it's being aware, but also not being afraid at the same time. So for example, what I know with AI, because I always try to keep myself educated and aware, and listen to podcasts and just keep up on um, how trends are impacting different industries and that. So what I know with AI is that there's a lot of information that might get fed to us that is not accurate.
Right.
And so I'm aware that there could be information that is coming up to potential clients that might not be accurate about my business. But I'm
Right.
not jumping on the bandwagon to say I need to fix that right now, because in my head, that's still a fairly new technology. And I want to make sure that that technology is, going to be with us a little bit before we start making major changes. So if I want to, for example, hire somebody in the technology world to help make sure that the accuracy of Intune that's being put out there is where it should be, I could do that right now. But in my head, I'm like, I'm going to wait for a little bit,
Yeah.
because these types of technology trends change and evolve so fast. And I want to make sure that the experts in the industry are using the right resources and tools to be able to offer the level of service that will really change things. I
Yeah.
don't want to do the quick fixes. I want to make sure that we're making
I'm
the right
pretty
choice.
cautious too. I'm like you with that. Did I cut you off?
No.
No. I'm like you with that. I'm pretty cautious. Like my partner in Montreal. Well, um, let me skip that. I already said no, but well, my well, because he always keeps up with trends, like keeps up with
Mm,
everything, right? He's always in the know. Anything new, he'll show me, right? So
mm,
there was this breathalyzer that uses basically your you can just put your finger on it, right? And it goes by your sweat to tell, or your biometrics to tell how much, what your BRAC is, or your
mm,
your back, right? Your blood alcohol content. And I said to him, well, this is the thing. I don't want to adopt that system. He's like, but you're saying like, it could be good for, especially for you going into events. It could be good, because it's less lineup. People don't have to blow. You don't have to give your text, because we have a specific SOP that we develop with the police as well as with lawyers, right? Whereas one of the steps, without saying too much, the techs have to blow a clean breath sample, take it down,
mm,
right, to show that they're at zero, and then give the breath test to the patient, right? So we're always at zero, so they can't drink anything at any event, right, at
mm,
all, in their uniform at all. So he said, like, that will cut on the steps, etc., right? But then, you think about it, and I'm thinking, well, what if the person is on medication, right? Like
mm.
that changes a lot. What if there's a whole lot of different things, right, that could
Mm.
affect it? And all the bottom line of what I was thinking is how accurate we will be to
Yeah.
send these people out on that's the bottom line for me.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, and I remember, somebody was saying to me like, oh, you're always worried about getting sued. It's not a matter of worried about getting sued. It's also worried about the integrity of what we're doing, because I actually have real live events of people dying. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? And becoming
Yeah.
immobilized for the rest of their life. So that's
Yeah.
always in the back of my mind with every decision that I make with the company. It's always in my mind thinking about the accuracy and about the real effects or what could happen on the worst case
Mm.
scenario. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this might be like a new trend and stuff like that. But guess what? That breathalyzer, we don't hear anything about it, right?
Mm.
Because the flaws are there. I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not bad mother, please. I'm not bad mother. Let me just say allegedly, just in case. Don't sue me, right? I'm not saying it doesn't work or anything like that. But I'm thinking about easier doesn't mean necessarily better in a lot of ways, especially when your concern is, are these people safe on the road, and am I safe on the road with these people? You see what I mean? So
Yep.
it's that, right? So that makes me avoid certain trends. Like if it makes sense, it makes sense, right? It makes sense, it makes sense. But if
Mm.
there are other variables that, whereas I'm saying that, okay, you know what, actually blowing is the safest way, the safest result that we will get, I'll
Mm.
stick with the blowing. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
Right?
I hear
Right.
you.
Right. That's that. Why are you quiet? What are you thinking? Tell me what you're thinking.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like what I'm hearing.
All right. So
It's interesting just the crossover, right? Like again, I
yeah.
think a lot of it is, we're talking two different, completely different examples, but it very much comes down to accuracy and integrity, and it's very relatable in
Yeah.
even though it's two different examples. It's really interesting.
Yeah. And then too, also too, I mean, we already gave up so much. Do it
Mm.
right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You,
Yes.
you see what I'm saying? Like we already
Yeah.
gave up so much. Do it right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yep.
and it's always learning. Okay. Many want to break into the DJ or MC business.
Mm.
What essential skills or attributes should they invest in first?
I think it's, we talked a little bit about, we didn't dive in there about failure. I think, a lot of DJs get their start in becoming what we call a bedroom DJ, but, just having some fun, just having fun practicing. And I don't think the focus should be on the MC. The MC will come over time. Like when I got in the DJ role, pertaining to bigger events and weddings and stuff, I was not a comfortable MC. It took me time. So, you have to evolve into even getting out to a live event. Once you get to a live event, you're naturally going to be making announcements and things, but not necessarily becoming an instant MC. Even if you're comfortable on the microphone, there's so many different dynamics that you need to know behind the scenes of how an event moves to really become a complete MC. So I think it's just, you know, putting yourself in situations where you can constantly grow. And I know for me, it was once I finally got into doing weddings, I was focused on the DJ skills, not being afraid to make announcements, putting myself out there. But before I was a full-fledged MC, it was kind of taking time to test out all the different elements of what it would take. And then eventually I kind of grew into that. Everyone's journey would be different, but it's very much who you connect with and putting yourself in situations that you can kind of test those waters and grow into that position. Because I think for most people, you're not just going to be great, you know. Like
You're right.
even if you're a great DJ, for example, that doesn't mean you're a great DJ at weddings. You know, if
Right.
if if you're a great public speaker, doesn't mean you're a great wedding MC. You
Exactly.
know,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah. No, I've
very
experienced that,
eventual.
and you
Yeah,
remember it. That's
yeah,
what you remember of the wedding too. You remember how much fun you had, but you
mm,
remember the music, right?
yeah.
And you remember the MC. You
Oh
do,
yeah.
right?
It sets the tone. It sets the tone for the
Sets the
whole
tone
event,
for
right?
things.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. You know, my culture is Jamaican.
Mm.
How many Jamaican events have you done, and what music have you found that you played at that event, if any? And let me know if you don't want to answer it. That's fine because this was not on the
No, it's a
question
great
list.
question.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I've had several Jamaican DJs on my team over the years, um, and
All right, meticulous.
part of that is because I just love having different cultures represented, and to be
Yeah.
honest with you, weddings nowadays you never know what cultures are being fused together. So we get so many weddings where, okay, on this side it's going to be, you know, a Jamaican groom, and then
Yeah.
the other side's a completely different culture altogether.
I
This is
know.
common. This is
Yeah,
common
it
nowadays.
is. It is.
So it helps when we've got, like, you know, I've got a guy on my team now. His family's from, you know, uh, Guyana and that.
Yeah.
So, you know, like we get a lot of different island vibes weddings, right? And I also DJ down on a resort down in Jamaica for a while. And
What?
yeah.
Wait, no, no,
And
no,
what I,
no, no. I didn't know that. Which one? Oh, before you go on, which one, Mark? Come on.
so this actually started many years ago
Yeah.
in Dominican Republic, and then
Yeah.
evolved into Jamaica. So it was at a resort called Breathless.
Yeah.
And Breathless was a brand that started um, as a, like, you could go to these resorts as a fitness person. So if you taught fitness
Right.
classes, you could go to these resorts, and it's essentially an exchange of service. So, you know, you go and you provide your service to patrons at the resort. They get these beautiful classes in exchange for a room, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And so you get like a free vacation, but you're offering your service up at these resorts. Now, what they did is they expanded into DJing.
Yeah.
And so you go and you do like pool parties, and you do these beach parties. And so I did this like 7 years in a row in Dominican at this Breathless resort. And then they opened it up to Breathless in Jamaica in Montego Bay. So
Yeah.
what they would do is they would do essentially club parties um, on the
Yeah.
water, in the pool, like pool parties, like during the
Pool
day, but
parties. Yep.
like a club atmosphere. So what I learned there was
Yeah.
that they like all different kinds of music, right? And
Yeah.
you know, I worked with other local DJs there that were very well represented, and I learned a lot about their culture and what's important. And they love all island music. So
Yeah.
you could be playing, you know, reggaeton, soca, merengue, you know, salsa. You could be playing anything from different various islands in the Caribbean. And I didn't understand that was important to them. That was part of their culture. And then, of course, old school Jamaicans, like in country music as well, was their big. I was like, what?
Yeah, we
I
do.
didn't
No,
realize.
honestly, yeah, like
Yeah,
Kenny Rogers and Murray,
yeah,
because we grew up around a lot of music, and that's why we're
yeah,
so musically inclined in the islands, right?
yeah.
Like we grew up, especially the old school. And I'm not dating myself. I'm still 27, but
That's it.
but right. So we grew up. First of all, we had one TV station, JBC.
Mm,
And then when we were older, like teenagers, we had two. We had CVM and JBC. Some people had cable. I was not one of those people, right? Or satellite. You remember when they had the satellite dishes and stuff like that, right? I
mm,
was not one of those. So music was very important to us, right? We had boom boxes on the side of the street, and we always listen. To this day, even when I realized, when I appreciated our culture when it comes to music, was when I moved away first for university, and I went to Washington D.C. Howard, and I heard these old songs, when I travel with my friends, and I started singing along, and they're like, Julia, why do you know that song? That's from the 50s. That's from the 60s. I'm like,
mm,
we grew up hearing this. Like, we are very musically inclined, right? And when you
mm.
find that you listen to different genres and different types of music, it actually gets your palate more full,
Yeah.
and you really appreciate it. I'm sorry, we've gone off on a tangent.
No,
Okay,
that's okay.
let me check on you. Are you okay for time right now, or you good? Okay, so I finished
I'm
my
having a
drink.
good time, Julia.
Okay, I
You
finished my
just
drink.
tell whenever you want me to stop drinking. You just tell me to
No,
stop drinking.
okay. So I finished my drink.
Okay.
Where are you with your drink? Are you like half a drink, or are you like full drink?
Yeah. Well, I had a big can, so that'll take me a while. But I'm good to stop anytime.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's stop now. So let's
Okay.
start with the 20 minutes, because I stopped drinking about 12 minutes ago,
Okay.
15, right? So
Yeah.
I'm going to have a real result. And you now are going to have a real result too, because we're going to be 20 minutes, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to start this.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue.
Sorry.
Um,
What was the question again
oh,
about
yeah, the question
Jamaican
before,
culture?
right. Um, with Jamaican culture. First of all, I asked you if you ever played for Jamaican events and weddings or events, and you said yes. But
Yeah, lots.
yeah, your thoughts on that, and then what music or are there you'll find that you usually will are safe to play, or like when it comes to selecting or music, what do you
Hmm.
keep in mind for the
Yeah.
event? And are there any be honest, like just be honest, like are there any, you know, artists that you probably avoid, or what goes into you choosing the music, especially like say for a Jamaican event,
Yeah.
right?
I
Okay.
mean, that's really driven on the client. So
Okay.
any when we're working with any cultures, it's
Mhm.
never about us. It's about what's important to them. So they might have something in their family that's really important musically. And so that's what we want to know. So that's why the planning is so important, because by the time we get to the event, they might be coming up to us at the DJ booth wanting us to play this or that, but we really want to know the really important, crucial music, like who impacted them growing up. What are their versions of throwbacks in their teenage years or their,
Yeah.
early 20s, that kind of a thing, when they were out dancing and stuff. So it's really about that. Every wedding is honestly so different because of that, because it's so personal to the group of friends and the family members and such. It's a big reward for us because of that. So we kind of go in with an open heart, understanding that whatever's important to them, we're going to make that happen.
What have you learned from like Jamaican DJs or from working in Jamaica? What have you learned about Jamaicans and Jamaican DJs and the Jamaican culture?
I'd say the big thing, it's really interesting, quite different from men to women.
Yeah.
Um, so um, it's yeah, it's really interesting. I also have an adopted sister who's half Jamaican.
What?
Yeah,
What?
that's
This
another
is like you
interesting.
are unfolding. The lotus is
Yes,
unfolding. Like I didn't know this about you at all.
yes,
What? No
yes,
wonder we
yes.
get along and you understand me when I talk fast. Anyhow, continue. I'm listening to you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't
Yeah.
know. I think it's quite different, like from male to female. It's a difficult question for me because I saw several Jamaican men that I worked directly with. So I saw them in their kind of workplace, and their kind of mentality, um, very laid back approach, almost sometimes too laid back,
Mm-hmm.
because we're very meticulous in
Very
our
mental.
approach.
Yeah.
So there's kind of that thing where you want that laid back approach, right? And I'm laid back as well at the same time, but because our approach in business is
It's
very
very. Yeah. I know. Yeah.
meticulous, there needs to be that balance of, you need to know when to kind of step up, and
Yeah.
you need to know when to kind of lay off. And but yeah, the fun factor is there. I generally find very versatile DJs. Like the
Yeah.
technical music element with these DJs are next level. Like they're a lot of fun and very musical, and they're open to go in different areas and very accommodating, that kind of a thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really interesting. I've
And
had
with the
much.
women, you find that we are more structured and more about get this done, done, done.
I can't speak to so much, like, especially not from a work standpoint. I'm not
Okay.
sure. You would be able to educate me on that side of things. I've had more just dealings with Jamaican men in
Okay.
my workplace,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. That's a good. I didn't
yeah,
know that you had a have. That's your sister, adopted sister to have Jamaican. That's nice.
yeah.
All right. How can newcomers build credibility and get their first few clients in a crowded market?
Hmm. Geez, these questions are so good.
It's a Julia.
I,
It's a blue fire question. They're gonna be.
yeah, I think it's so hard. Like, I think back to when I first got going, and I think the big thing is you know, it's easy to say, but it's not having that scarcity mindset. because I think with the scarcity mindset, I think especially when you're in the arts, it's like sometimes you accept things for what you're not worth,
Yeah.
just for the sake of getting a gig kind of thing, right? And I think that um, taking your time to evolve into what sits right with you kind of thing, right? But I think it's ultimately what it is not being afraid to put yourself out there into the community, into networking events, and trying to connect with the right type of people that will talk, you know
Yeah.
and it's so easy to sit back and do nothing, but it's just keep them moving, right? And things
Yeah.
will come if
The
you're
momentum is
if
important.
if you're you know attached to doing things every day, it'll come,
It will
because
come.
life is full of ups and downs, but it'll come if you're committed to the task. And
Yeah.
you know there's lots of different moving parts, but I think it's just and not being in a rush, you know.
Yeah. Sorry, there was a mosquito there.
Okay.
But yeah, I know. I don't know where it came from. The house is always closed, especially since it's so hot outside.
Yeah.
Um, you know what? Yes, I understand that. But sometimes, especially I remember too when I like just started, and I didn't mind like even doing an event for half because of the fact that I thought I know it's so great that I'm doing this not for the money, like it will break even, but I know that I know that they're going to be so happy that they'll invite me back again, or at least they will talk.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's the mindset sometimes too. It's not necessarily a scarcity thing. Sometimes it's real faith in
Yeah.
what you're actually doing, like
Oh
thinking
yeah.
that, okay, I know you're going to love it, so you're going to hire me again, right? But that can be a trap. And you have to know when to just be like, no, not to do that, because then people take advantage. And then
Yeah.
sometimes you do get the great feedback, and then they move on their merry way. So you don't get the
Yeah.
residual what you thought, right? But
Yeah.
you live and you learn and you work, I
Oh
guess.
yeah. Yeah, for
Right?
sure. And there's different I definitely hear what you're saying. There's that kind, because when I first got going, I was heavily embedding myself into the community, doing community events, and that was not about money. That was just about networking and saying, like, if there's anything you need, let me help you. So,
Yeah.
it was a different mindset altogether. And that wasn't a scarcity mindset. That was just I was going to do whatever it took to get myself out there. But when
Yeah.
I think back, for sure, I wasn't charging what I was worth. There's definitely not. But,
Yeah.
that's part of growing your business. You don't start at the highest level, right? You got to grow into that. So,
Yeah. And
um,
when you talk about like being around the right people, you're right, because um sometimes somebody's going to be a problem.
mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Just from how they, like I remember when I first started, and I was in Brampton at that time. And this man, he was just so belligerent and rude and just cursing on the phone and rough. And I just
Mm,
felt like, and then when I went and I saw how he was treating his team, one of them was his actual daughter,
mm,
right? And I'm just thinking like, I don't. This is the type of client that I do not want, you know,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
he could be abusive to me and abusive to my people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
was, yeah. So the right people and the right type of events, and then not only that, but he was a liability nightmare, because I looked at it and I could tell, right? Because there was, a lot of the servers weren't really up to par with their smart server, just didn't care, and they had the reputation of not caring about drinking, right? So I said,
Mm,
this can put me in trouble,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
is it worth it? So that too, like actually getting the right clientele that suits you or that you envision is I understand that. I mean, you're right. um yeah, so okay, so you answered that, because you said it just depends on the client. I was going to ask you, how do you make sure your music and hosting styles feel inclusive and personal across the different traditions? And you basically answered that. You said it depends on what the client wants. So you do deep dive part in what they want, and right. Have you ever learned something profound from a client that changed how you approach an event?
Yeah, I think that goes both ways. You know, we put so much work and energy into planning these events. Again, the meticulous planning. At the same time, you need to have the type of, and this is again why I need to hire human first, because you have to have a flexibility about you that can go along with things if things don't go as planned. So it's like, yes, we can put all this energy into planning everything down to the minute, but the reality is these events are long days and there's a lot of different factors involved, and rarely do they go exactly as planned. So having the ability to kind of evolve and go with it. And, you know, we've had clients that are so set in their ways and what they think will work for their wedding. And we have to have those hard conversations to say, look, this is great. We want to work with you to get this unique flair on your event. At the same time, if this or this or this doesn't work, are you okay with us to go in a different direction? Because we want that trust to be built in that way.
Yeah.
And this has happened at countless events for us. And I think sometimes control can get in the way of like staying open and just to organically let something flow. Let the DJ do their job, you know,
Yeah.
and read the crowd and let them take the crowd on a journey where they're supposed to go. So we've definitely had situations where things were kind of laid out in a certain way, but with the understanding that it might not happen like that. In fact, we had a wedding last week where they were really into disco music. And so they wanted the DJ at a certain point in the night to be predominantly focused on disco music, almost like have a cool disco night kind of thing, which sounds cool on paper. But at the end of the day, you mentioned the term earlier, being inclusive. And does that alienate part of the crowd, or does the crowd not get what the couple's vision was? And so there was that situation where we needed to evolve and bring it in a different area. And as soon as we did, the connection started to happen with the guests. So, you know, it's that thing, right? You need to stay open and stay committed to the trust that needs to happen so that you can have the day of your dreams kind of thing, right? So I think control can be a huge factor with events. You know, too much control and not enough openness towards just letting it flow and go with things.
Right. Question for you.
Yeah.
What is a pet peeve of DJs that we don't know? Like, for instance, I'm always hesitant to go up to a DJ
Yeah.
and request a song because I just feel like, I want to interfere with this man's work. You know what I mean? They're usually very
Yeah.
accommodating and stuff. So, what I would do is I would inch, you know what I mean? Like, I would see how they
Yeah.
are, read the room type of thing, inch towards them and just see. First of all, if they're really deep in it, I won't answer any questions. But tell us, because a lot of us don't know, like what not to do to a DJ when he's
I think
DJing.
so. There's kind of two parts to this.
Right.
The first part is the way that we've built our brand is
Yeah.
heavily based on, you know, when we run our events, this is not about us. We're helping to execute the events, but the event is about the client, the couple, and their guests,
Mhm.
or the organization that we're representing. It's all about them, and a big part of that is them connecting with us at the DJ. So a lot of times when we're announcing on the microphone, it's like, yeah, come up and see us. We welcome requests. We want you to be a part of this celebration and come up and talk to us, because this allows us to connect with them one on one and allows us to understand a little bit more about why that music could be important for the night. And sometimes it could give us some inside knowledge into why that is a good addition to the night. So that's kind of the first part of it. The second part, and sorry, how a DJ handles all that in a professional manner is a huge part of the professional approach that we take. It's a massive thing, because some DJs don't want to deal with it, and it's kind of like, nope,
Yeah.
we're not interested in that. And so to me, that's either they don't have the experience, or
Yeah.
they don't want the same things as what the client wants, and that's the disconnect, right? So it's different in the world that we live in. I would say the kind of the faux pas of that, and there's a lot of videos. If you ever want to kind of kill some time, look up on YouTube. You'll see lots of stuff where there's kind of reenactments of guests at events going up to a DJ, kind of like what not to do kind of thing. And these, we laugh about it in the industry, but
Yeah.
it happens at every single event. And the big faux pas are going up to the DJ. The problem is it's the drinking, right? This is what usually
Right.
gets people.
Yeah.
Okay, now I feel uncomfortable to go up to the DJ because I've had a few drinks, kind of thing. Now, what happens in that interaction could be professional, but it could be one of a few things. It could be holding up their phone in the DJ's face to say, play this song. So they might have the song up on
Yeah.
Spotify or something, and they're just sticking it in their face to play it. And if they don't react in the way that they want, sometimes it's like, oh, here, let's just plug it in. We can play it right now. Like they're trying to take over what the DJ is doing, kind of thing, right? So it comes off a bit disrespectful, right? Because they don't know
Yeah.
what's gone into that event. There's so much work leading up to that, and there's a lot of things that we can't really play, and
Right.
we're trying to respect everyone involved to do that. So the interaction can be a bit disrespectful. Usually it's the drinks that get involved
It's the
in
drink.
that.
Oh, I know.
It's the aggressiveness in nature. So we need to be calm and we need to be appropriate so as not to react in the moment, to kind of buy into that,
Yeah.
nonsense, if you will, right? And that's going to
Yeah.
happen. There's
Yeah.
usually one or two guests that want to make it a little bit more about them, and
Yeah.
that we just need to stay grounded and focused on the task at hand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. 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 Just like just customer care.
yeah.
Real customer care. That's what it is. Okay. What trends do you see shaping the future of live events, entertainment, and how are you adopting?
I know we're talking about trends again here. So for me, the trend is just continuing to evolve. So
Mhm.
as I mentioned earlier, I was really challenged with trends during COVID. And so it
Mhm.
really challenged me as a business to, yes, I work in the technology business, but at the core, at the heart of what we do is client care. So
Mhm.
it's a bit of an old school approach in that, how are we elevating that game? So we're adopting different technologies, but at the base of it, we're not changing our approach to client care. So it's in terms of the focus, it's really interesting. This changes so rapidly from year to year. Like some years we see where there's bands and DJs sharing the stage, kind of thing, and then a lot of times this is very very much a cultural thing where there's different cultural elements to different events. Uh, Dancing, live dancing and different forms of entertainment that kind of infuses the whole experience, kind of thing, right? It elevates it to another level. I don't think that's a trend per se. It's just, I think there's always going to be areas in the entertainment world that people will look at to make their day unique. And the challenge that we live in is we're working within an interesting economy, where there's kind of like people are on budgets. They can't afford necessarily an elevated entertainment experience, but they would choose that if they could have that. So I feel like there's different styles of clients that will go down the route of trends. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'm the best person to ask in the way of trends, because I think for me, my trend is what we can always do to elevate the client experience rather than hopping on
The
another
different things. Yeah.
thing, kind of thing, because there's always going to be things. But for me, we work in an industry that's really underserviced, and
Yeah.
so I put so much energy into trying to make good service trendy, if that makes sense. It
That
sounds
makes that
boring,
no. That
but it's
sounds
so
perfect.
crucial.
That's so perfect. And a matter of fact, I love that line so much. I'm sure I'm going to use it. I'm sure I'm going to use it. All right.
Yeah.
What do you find that it's still better done face to face? Because I know a part of your website that you say you have the portal and you
Yeah.
design, so it's ease of use for them. What parts of it of your service do you find that is better face to face, or does it depend on the client? Because I find some clients, they just want to just email.
Yeah.
They just want the nitty-gritty email, or they just want to have a Zoom. They see you once, that's enough. The rest is email. And then some clients, like the older ones, like especially like some of them that work at the winery, and I piece it together. I said to myself, you know what, Julia? I think it's because a lot of them grew up where people used to go door to door and sell vacuum cleaners. Like they love to have you. That's what I
Yeah.
realized. Like even like some of the like they, I don't want to call the wineries, but the wineries that have bought my products and stuff, right?
Yeah.
They've always appreciated me showing up, right? And that's what I was telling you before about the systems in client care, what I needed, right?
Hmm.
So they actually show they love you showing up. So and I said, you know what, it's the older ones, the boomers, they really love when you show up, So what parts of your service, does it depend? Is it like mine where it just depends on who?
It's very much we meet them where they're at. So if it were driven based on what I want, I would always want the face to face like video conversations, because again, I'm always about connection. So I love reading body language and challenging couples to what's important to them, that kind of a thing. So that would be my thing, but not everyone wants that. You had mentioned the old school mentality. I find that, for example, if it's an older client that has maybe been married before, and they're getting married for a second time, they're just really comfortable in their skin and they grew up talking on the phone to service providers. They'll just pick up the phone and call me. They won't even hesitate. That's their preferred way to talk. So I pick up and have a great connection conversation with them, and they appreciate that I've taken the time for them, because that's what they grew up, and that's how I grew up too, right? With that. So for me, it's very much a natural kind of thing. So if it were me, I would always have that. But yeah, I've got many clients that when I have phone conversations, you can tell they're not comfortable with it, because I'm trying to garner a connection, but not everyone knows how to do that or wants that, right? There's kind of that wall built a little bit around that. So, it's meeting clients where they're at. So with some, it's, you can tell just based on the email communication, I'm trying to get them on a phone call and they're just wanting pricing, or, they're
Yeah,
going, they just want that back and forth communication in that way. And I'll adapt to that accordingly and change my communication towards helping them in that manner. But yeah,
yeah,
it's really about reading your audience and going with it in that way. So,
yeah.
um,
Do you think it's a generation? I think it's a generation thing. You think it's a generation thing?
100%. But
Yes.
the funny thing is, Julia, is
Yeah.
like I hadn't done wedding shows in a long time, and I did a bunch earlier this year. I hadn't been out in about 10 years doing wedding shows. And when I was out doing those wedding shows, to me, the main couple that is going to those wedding shows, they want to connect with you because it's in person. That's why they're
Yeah.
going to those wedding shows. And the type of conversation you have in person, you can't beat that. And these are a lot of younger couples, that kind of a thing. So I truly do think that deep down, most people know that there's a benefit in that. But I think it's just, yeah, there's a generational thing. And it's kind of like the stories that they can tell themselves, in that if we can get away without having that type of,
Yeah.
yeah, but they're really doing themselves a
A
disservice.
disservice. Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
Hundred
Because
percent.
like without I posted something on social media recently about, I don't know, and there's so many couples that are hiring professionals without having any or minimal connection with them. So that tells me they're either hiring based on budgets or just based on marketing kind of thing. But you don't really truly know who the beginning of somebody might be until you have a heart to heart with them. I truly believe that.
I believe that too. I
Because
believe
what a
that.
lot
That's
of
what I
people,
love too. Yeah.
when
That
I
that
got married, like I think back to some of the conversations I had, and it's all over the map, right? But some people are so pushy in what they're trying to accomplish, and then there's no service afterwards, kind of thing, right?
Right.
It's just kind of that upfront, thing. And like, you want to feel a connection with people that you hire, right? And that is important because
It is important. And you want to feel that connection with people that you hire too, because then your performance becomes a lot more personal. Like
yes,
it becomes more of like showing up, like these people, like you've met them, you see, so it's
yeah,
more personal. You know what I mean? Like I don't know
100%.
how the human element. Okay, so listen, 20 minutes have passed.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna use a breathalyzer. We're gonna continue. So you have your breathalyzer with you now. Remember, Remember, there's a foil at the top, right? So that's why we have to push it in properly.
Okay.
When you look up, I'll show you.
Okay.
So you see how it is. So remember, there's a foil there, right? There's a foil there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
when you push it in, you got to push it in to break the foil,
I see.
right? So blow for 10 seconds.
So
It's
that I
supposed to
pushed
be
it in, I felt it push.
good. And when
Yeah.
you blow, it's supposed to be as easy as like blowing through a straw. There should be no resistance. Okay?
So I'm going through the other end, yes?
Any end.
Oh, it doesn't matter which end?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
But just do the one with this one. But it doesn't matter. But just do.
The one where it says blow. Yeah.
Yeah, blow there. Ready? Ten seconds. Another 10 seconds. I'm a mermaid, so I can hold I have a lung capacity like it's crazy. So ready? 10.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're supposed to start to feel it heating up already. Feel it. Were you blowing?
Yeah.
Right? Should feel like, are you feel like it's getting hot-ish?
No.
Warm?
No.
When you blew through it, was it blowing through like easily? Take the top off to make sure that it went through, because mine is already hot, it's already changing. If you can see. Mine is already changing. Let me move it up back. Oh, it's the light. The light's doing it. Mine's already pink. Can you see?
No.
Here? Mine's already pink. Let me do like this. Mine's already pink. Mine is already 0.03. But you had a what? Wait, you had a half a beer, right? Or a full beer?
Not a full, but maybe three
Right.
quarters of.
And then you ate a heavy meal before. What did you eat before?
Just like it was actually quite a light, just like a quinoa bowl.
Quinoa.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to take 4 minutes to fully change.
I pushed this one down, right? That's it?
We pushed everything. Push it in like this.
Oh, both sides.
Both sides, yeah. Push right through.
That's why, because only the one side I pushed. That's why.
No. But when you blew, it's supposed to feel like blowing through the straw. Okay, so do it again. Do it again. Mine is already done, so do it again. Do it.
You gonna count for me?
No, go. 1. Okay, stop. Another 10.
I can feel the heat.
Okay, another 10. Okay, so that is why it doesn't matter which end you blow through, because there's foil on both ends. So I'm sorry I didn't explain that properly. But when I say compress, I just mean like this, right? So in 4 minutes, it's going to change to the full, to what the color is supposed to be in 4 minutes. But you feel the heat, that's the chemical reaction already started, right? You feel the heat on it, you should.
Yeah, there's a bit of heat, yeah.
Okay, now your color might be less than mine because I had straight up Southern Comfort on the run, and I was nibbling while I was eating, but I
Right.
didn't eat that much today. I had protein shake and a chicken salad, which was more chicken than salad. Hi, Hannibal. Good afternoon, Hannibal. So in 4 minutes, you're gonna see the final results. But mine right now, I'm at about a 0.03 right now.
How can you tell? Like what
Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers and look at the color. Can you see the numbers?
I see the numbers, but
And the color of the color of the salts, it should be clear. If it's at
it's
zero,
clear.
it's clear.
It's
What's yours?
clear.
Yours is still clear. Yeah,
Clear.
because you didn't drink that much.
I see.
Mine is so you would be the designated driver. And
Right.
also to remember your height, your weight, the fact that
Yeah.
you're a man, you have more muscles
Yeah.
than I do. You had a half a beer. I had 2 shots,
Shots. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And even though I was nibbling, I didn't really eat that much today. And also, it's different moments. So right now, I wish I could. I wish I can you. Oh, good. That's better. Hold on. Wait. Can you see that mine is pinkish? Can you
Okay, there
see?
now I see it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's pinkish. Look at yours. Yours is much clearer than mine,
It's
right?
clear. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see. So you would be the driver right now. So you had half a beer. You had food today. So you'll be okay. But in 4 minutes, we will be able to tell exactly where you are. Or
Does
does it
it
look like
cool
it's
off
changing even
too?
a little bit?
Does it cool off now?
Yeah, it's supposed to cool off.
It's cooling off now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to cool off. So, fun fact about these devices: this is the only device that Mothers Against Drunk Driving endorses.
Right.
Yeah, the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh,
Very
so
cool.
now I'm at a 0.04 actually. So now the 4 minutes are up. Yeah, it definitely turned more pink.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me show you.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah, I'm
see that.
about a 0.04 right now. See the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a guide and for you to learn yourself, right?
Yeah.
So if I was at an event and I had that, I would stop drinking, right? And then in an hour, when it's time for me to leave or so, that's why I say you double check. In an hour, I would check again to make sure. But in an hour, it should be much lower, right?
Mm.
So that would be a guide for me to say, okay, stop drinking,
Mm.
right? So,
Yeah.
all
Love
right.
it.
Well, you have more, so you can try it on your own time, right? And actually try it with your friends,
I
etc.
will.
Right? Um, I'm sorry yours didn't change. You just didn't drink enough.
It changed a little bit now,
Right, because after the 4 minutes, what does it
but
say now? Like 0.0, where are you? Show
just
it.
in the 0.02, I think.
0.02. Okay.
Yeah, it just changed a little bit.
Okay.
I'm a responsible guy, you know.
I know. Of course you are. Of course you are. All right. Let's pick this up. What does it mean to you personally when a couple says that was the best night of our lives?
It's very personal. It means everything, you know. Like they'll use language like, you know, we just felt like you were part of the family or one of our friends, you know, that kind of a thing, right? So it really means a lot that they felt like they were seen. And again, it's about the whole entire experience, right? From when we first met them all the way through to the last dance. So hearing comments like that, just it's that's why we do what we do, you know. It's beautiful.
How do you stay grounded for each client? I know like the events industry is very, very high stress, but yet still it's joyful settings. So
Yeah.
what do you do and how do you stay grounded and present for each client?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think I'm a really grounded person. Like I focus on myself and my own growth outside of work to make sure that I wake up with intention and a level of groundedness. Like that took me a long time to get to that point too. But you know, I wouldn't ever use that language in the past where I'm grounded. But I'm a really grounded and open and try to be a humble person. Like I just want to be a source of inspiration and education for couples. I don't want to come in with an energy like I know it all and we're going to do this and that and not give them a chance to have a say. I think that's a big part of what we do is we stay open to the process, stay present, because that's really what we're, if you read a lot of the language in our marketing, it's a lot about that.
Yeah.
We're staying present with you
Present is very holistic.
and yeah, it's very, very spiritual. In tune is not an accident that my business is called that. It's very much about removing stress from the experience and staying grounded and staying present. We want our couples to experience that on their days. That's what it's all about.
And
It's
it
easy
was
to get lost in so many, you get pulled in a lot of different directions on these days, and it's so easy to get lost in everything. We don't want them to worry about what we do,
yeah.
So,
And it was because of the name why this question came, because you don't just play music, you set the tone. So how do you read the room to know when it's time to shift gears or to drop that perfect sound? Or is it just something that you just have to, is in the moment, you just know, you just feel it, you just know?
yeah, I mean, it's definitely a huge amount of experience that we bring to events that allows us to be confident in doing that. You can't go in with ego. I mean, DJs are notorious for having egos attached to them. And part of what an ego can do is to say, I know better than the group.
Yeah.
And the problem is at events is that you can't go in with that thing thinking everyone's going to be dancing all the time. I mean, that's not the reality, right? The reality is there's going to be waves and some ups and downs, and there's a lot of moving parts at events. So you need to be open to the idea that you could go in different directions. What might work at one event doesn't necessarily work at another. So you do need to stay open and flexible around what that looks like. A lot of it, to be honest with you, is experimentation. Like with experience comes, oh, okay, I can go in these 4 or 5 different genres of music from older to newer. The cultural element plays a huge role as well, because if that's involved, that could drive part of the dance floor at certain times of the night. When that's not involved, it's just a matter of trying out tried and true different genres of music and seeing what might hit. But it sometimes takes a bit of time. You have to have patience and flexibility, and you have to be open to not taking things personally when not everyone's out there
Yeah.
dancing. That's the reality. We're living through this insane heat at the moment. If we're entertaining at a venue that either isn't great air conditioning, or we're in something like a barn that doesn't have air conditioning, what guests will often do right when dancing starts is they'll go outside to try and get some air because it's too hot.
Too hot.
So, we can't take these things personally. We have to understand that,
You go with the flow.
the flow. Yeah.
Go with the flow.
Experience. It's a ton of experience. And prior to the event, it's having those conversations. Sometimes they're difficult conversations with the client that allows them to trust us. It's like we want them to have a big say in their day, but at the same time, sometimes the DJ can read the room and accomplish a lot in a small amount of time and not be so worried about playing every track that we
Playing every track, yeah. Understood.
It's a balance usually.
Mark, you've been part of hundreds of weddings and events. How important is it for hosts and vendors to prioritize guest safety, especially when alcohol is involved? Of course, I'm going to tie it back to the breathalyzer that you just used.
Yeah.
Has yours changed anymore or no?
I think it's pretty much like just slightly. It's definitely 0.02.
Yeah, mine is at a 0.03. So you would be the designated driver. Okay.
Yeah.
So
does that mean I can have a drink again?
Okay. Yes, you can. But listen, usually we never tell people that they're okay to drink or to drive. So even if you're at a 0.01, we always say, listen, right now you're at a 0.01.
Yeah.
And first we ask them when they're going to leave the event. Then we calculate where it will be by that time. And we say, even if you have 0.0000000, a minuscule amount, you can still be charged with impaired to any degree if
Yeah.
you're found to be driving recklessly. So that's one of our cardinal rules. We never tell anybody that they're okay to drive. Never. We
Yeah.
just tell them where they are, tell them where the limit is, set their expectation, and let them know that even if you have cough syrup in your system, right? Impaired is impaired. If you're found to be driving recklessly, crossing lines, etc., especially now with the new rules in Ontario where you can't, where you're gonna take a breath test, you will still be liable, even if you're below the limit, because it's impaired to any degree. And a lot of people don't know that. They don't know that.
Yeah.
Right. So that's one of the things that we never say, just to protect our host and to protect us as well. Right. We tell you where you are, right? And we always tell people to come back and test again.
Yeah.
So if someone says, so does that mean that I can continue drinking? We always say, come back. Right now you're below the limit. Come back and test again before you leave.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's why I said we had to really get this SOP down pat with ex-police and with lawyers, etc., right? To make
Yeah.
sure that we're actually protecting, not only protecting people, but protecting ourselves and protecting the host as well.
Yeah.
Um, you just missed. What did I just? We were talking.
You're asking about the safety
Yeah,
of an
the
event.
safety. Yeah. With alcohol involved.
So just remind me what
How
specifically.
important is it for hosts and vendors to prioritize guest safety, especially when alcohol is involved? But yes, you can continue drinking. A matter of fact, you know what? Finish your drink, because I want to show you what it looks like when you don't wait 20 minutes.
I see.
So you
Okay.
can use another one, because when you don't wait 20 minutes, your reading is going to be very high. Why? Because you're blowing pure breath alcohol
Right.
into the
Interesting.
device,
Okay.
right? And it has not it works in your body like a spike.
Metabolized yet, or
Right. So after 20 minutes, it's 15 to 20 minutes, that's when it starts to metabolize. We always want to catch the spike going down.
interesting. Okay.
Always want to catch the spike going down. That's why if a police pull you over, they ask you, if you say yes, when was your last drink? They always ask you that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think-
Go ahead.
I think, yes, to me, safety is of utmost importance at events. I mean, this is something like when we're hosting an event, one of the first things that we do is we introduce ourselves to the audience, and we go through kind of the set rules for the night, if you will, right? The house rules, we call them. And
Yeah.
part of that is the safety of the event. So we want to, make it very clear that we're here to have fun, but we're not here to disrespect, rules, so we make sure that we're very clear in our approach to safety, in terms of, parking their cars overnight, and, not drinking and driving, and like, it's kind of standard stuff, but it's of utmost importance. It's the very first thing we want to kind of make it very clear, just because what we do heavily involves drinking.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
without safety, then your events become a bit chaotic and a bit unhinged, if you will, right? Like, we want it to revolve around safety. We want a fun and safe event, and we want things in place, and we want the venues to support that as well, to make sure that we can do our job properly. Because when we're hosting these events, there is a level of responsibility there that is attached to us, for sure.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's why one of our tags is an awesome time done safely.
Yeah.
Coined by me, of course.
Yeah. We got a writer in the house. Yeah.
We're all artists, though, aren't we?
Yes.
We're all artists. Have you ever witnessed a situation at an event where a tool like our breathalyzer, or even our breathalyzer system, could have helped someone make a safer choice?
Oh, I think so. Like, a lot of times we don't see the after effects, but I've been in a lot of events where
Could have been.
it was getting out of control.
Right.
I can't say, how it would have changed the dynamic, because I
Yeah.
think ultimately the hosts and the if it's a couple getting married, for example, I mean, they have to buy into that safety element, right? And so if you just have a bunch of friends and family come in and it's just a reckless kind of like drink fest, then there's no systems in place to take care of them.
Yeah.
Then then what happens? Like we've been at events where the bar just gets cut off,
Yeah.
and it's like, then what?
Yeah. 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 No, I've been at events like that too.
It's thinking ahead to all of the precautions. And I mean, it would be pretty cool. Like at so many events that we've done, we've got those little baskets that are in bathrooms,
Yeah.
little like and I thought that'd be cool to have these things. And
Oh yeah. Yeah, like even in the gift bags, etc.,
gift
right?
bags.
Or the
Yeah,
gift bags, yeah. And the thing is, too, some of our people that buy from us, like when they host their own parties,
yeah,
right? They'll take their friends' keys, because one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that you're responsible for your people until they're sober again,
yeah.
right? So they'll take their keys, and they will give them their keys after they use a breathalyzer to make sure that they're actually okay to
Mm,
go, right?
yeah.
Um, so our goal with these breathalyzers, as well as my breathalyzer system for the events, is to remove the stigma and normalize responsible partying. Do you think that message would resonate with, say, even your client base when it comes on to weddings, corporate events, etc.? Do you think that resonates with them?
100%.
100%. I think so too. I think so too. I think so too. Let me ask you this. I'm going to go back now to you, right? Since we're almost finished. You're building more than a business. And first of all, thank you so much for answering the questions about the breathalyzers. You're
Oh,
such a great sport.
of course.
You're building more than a business. You're building memories. What kind of legacy do you want to leave with us, like to tell us about in-tune events to leave behind? If you had a magic wand
Hmm.
and you wanted to plant that legacy in our mind, what kind of legacy do you want in-tune events to leave behind?
Hmm. I think that many of our reviews online will talk to this, but I
Yeah,
think overwhelmingly, I would say I want our legacy to be that we cared about the our clients having a personal and memorable experience that they'll never forget.
yeah, yeah,
That's how I would wrap it up.
yeah,
Because I can run my business like an agency and just send out DJs and they
yeah.
go and do that. But without, these, we've talked a
Personal
lot about
touch.
the personal touches and the connection and the authenticity behind it, all of that. That is what matters to us as a brand. And how we make people feel after these events, like them having this experience of a lifetime. And um, that's what it's all about for us. That
Yeah,
that that's the legacy. It's harder to build that legacy, but that's
yeah,
the reward in it all.
yeah, yeah. It's all about the client care and the people, right? As you were talking about before, that's the running theme. And
Yeah.
yeah, I saw your reviews, and yeah, you're definitely leaving that legacy. That tree's already starting to grow. So
You want me to share something which is a little
yes,
bit dark,
yes,
actually?
yes. Go
My
ahead.
wife and I were just talking yesterday about what would happen if one of us passed.
Hmm.
And and it was kind of like I had said, I've thought about this. Like if I pass and I've got my brand, and I truly do feel it would continue to live out its legacy based on how it was built, even with me not being around, because we've built this system of how we take care of our clients. So it's much more than me. And it not that that's pretty cool to get to
That's
that
pretty cool. That is what, yeah, that's pretty cool. Like the foundation is so strong, right?
point. Yeah,
That unless someone comes in and takes a sledgehammer to it, like,
yeah.
right? Yeah, I love that. I really do love that. All right. For the entrepreneurs on the site right now, for anyone who's listening who dreams of running their own event business, what's your one piece of advice that they cannot Google?
Uh, this is going to be a bit personal, I would say, is don't listen to the noise out there. I think with all of the distractions that are out there, don't listen to the noise. Uh, Focus on building an authentically you brand, and don't
Yeah,
be in a rush to do so. You know,
yeah.
it sounds a little bit deep, and but
No, but it's facts. It's true.
yeah,
Like,
don't get
and you
sucked
know
into
what?
the
You know
noise.
the authenticity. Why the authenticity is so important in my to me and my from my experience and my mind is because authenticity makes things sustainable, right? And sustainability is the big thing for me. If
Yeah,
I start something, I want it to be sustainable so I can continue it,
yeah,
right? So the more authentic it is to me and my flair and or professionalism and or values basically, the more sustainable it is,
yeah.
right?
That's a great way to put it, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's how I see it,
Yeah,
right?
because I had a brand for 10 years and
Mm-hmm.
I decided to completely rebrand in 2021. And because in my heart, I thought I need to put out there what is authentic to me. And I didn't
Yeah,
feel that that was happening before. And it was a big risk. But at the end of the day, it's about sustainability, like you said.
yeah,
And we evolve as humans, and our
yes,
brands need to evolve with that.
yeah.
And I'll tell you something. I read this quote one time, Julia, and it was
Mhm.
something to the effect of, um, if you're one way in your personal life and you're another way in your business life, one of those is lying.
Yes, yeah, it's true.
And that
It's
was a wake
true.
up call for me. That's when I realized, oh.
Oh, yeah, yeah, true. Facts.
Sometimes
Yeah,
you put on this front and you try and be this thing that you think you have to be, but
yeah.
is that authentic to
Is that
you?
authentic? Right? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you're right. And you know what? People can feel these things, and that's why I say, like, don't underestimate people, because we can feel. When they say the penny doesn't ring true, you can
Mm.
feel when something is off.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I'd rather be rejected for who I am, my accent, my OCD, my attention to detail, my love of people. I'd rather be rejected for that than accepted for something that I'm totally not. You see
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like, yeah,
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, all right, all right. If you could go back to your very first event as a DJ or planner, what would you tell your younger self now? What would you say?
Don't do it. It actually makes me cringe when I think back to the first wedding that I did.
Yeah,
Really makes me cringe. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. So I was just winging it, but these were friends that asked me to DJ. This is how it starts, right? You get
yeah,
asked by friends to, it's, but it's kind of one of those things that, like, don't be afraid to try different things, because you never know where it's going to lead you, right? And that's kind of
right,
what happened with me. I didn't know what I didn't know, and I put myself out there because I loved music and I loved people, and those are two driving forces behind running a business like this. So
yeah.
although it makes me cringe now, at the time I was able to get away with it, based on those situations, right? And it
Yeah.
wasn't me fully embedded into the business. It was just something I was doing for fun on the side. And
Hmm.
but you learn every
You
time
know,
you do an event like this. You learn so much because there's so many moving parts. So just to put yourself in that situation is very brave, because it's not just going and playing some music. There's logistics, and there's equipment, and there's communication, and there's so many details involved, and who you're working
Yeah,
with them. There's a lot, and so just
yeah.
putting yourself out there. Don't be afraid to do that.
All right. Well, if all wedding and event vendors join forces to promote safety, do you think the industry could shift the culture around alcohol and celebration? I think, well, to be fair, I think the industry has shifted a little bit because I'm finding a lot more non-alcoholic drinks and cocktails at events. But anyhow, I don't want to take away from what I'm asking you. So,
Yeah.
right, maybe maybe I change the question. Answer how you feel to answer that. What do you think is important from that question?
I I think that um, hmm. So this was about if the industry got together and
Right.
about promoting safe events.
Safety. Do you
Um,
think the industry could shift the culture around alcohol and celebration?
I think so. Like for me, being in the music business, being in the entertainment business, yes, it is related to alcohol in some capacity. But for me, we don't sell our services based on that. We sell our services on connection through music, um, and through other factors as well, which we won't go down that path. But yeah, I think alcohol can be a distraction in the grand scheme of things. I think society tells us that we need alcohol to have a good time, and
Yeah.
and like I get it. I've been there.
Yeah.
It's just I love the shift in the way that events are run and the approach. And yeah, I love seeing the different elements of the different types of mocktail bars I think there's so many cool different dynamics now that make up an event that isn't structured around alcohol. Like I grew
Yeah.
up where everything was around,
Everything is around it. Yeah.
including fundraising efforts around events, like this is a thing, like getting people to buy alcohol to support the couple's endeavors to get married, that kind of a thing, these parties and stuff. So it's just, I think there has been a culture shift already, but I'd love to see more
More.
of that.
Mark, listen, the most frustrating thing, it's like sometimes I wonder, I met, who will remain nameless, I met an owner the other day, and he straight up said to me, I'm in the business of selling alcohol, not breathalyzers.
Mm.
So I explained, everything to him, and he says to me, well, if they're going to overdrink at my place, I'd rather not know it. And
Mm.
I'm thinking, are you under a rock? And then he goes, and then says to me, yeah, so this will probably hurt my sales with alcohol. And I'm thinking, well, not if they're not over the limit. Like, you don't want people to drinking over the limit anyway, right? And it's one of those places where it was very near to where a big accident happened
Mm.
in Etobicoke, right?
Mm.
So, it was, and I'm thinking that is still the thought process of a lot of people who put profits over people,
Yeah.
right? And they're like hanging by a thread because, guy, you can lose your liquor license for a good while. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Insurance can go up. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I had another person say to me, "You lost me at police because they asked about the reliability of it." And I said, like, "Listen, the same people who make it for the police force, they make." And he says, "Oh well, you lost me at police." And I'm thinking, you know what? It's good that these people are weeding themselves out because maybe I don't want you as a client anyway. You see what I mean? Remember we were talking about the different types of.
It's a
Yeah, go
bit
ahead.
archaic, right? And I have this
Yeah,
too with clients where it just doesn't align, and that's okay, you know.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but when you hear it first, though, Mark, it's not okay. You're just like, what? Like at first, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, I guess you're at the place now where it's easier for you to walk away without saying, but I need to change your thinking. You know what I mean?
yeah,
you don't have energy, and you're just like, okay, fine, whatever, just move on to the next person. It's when you leave that place and you're driving in your car and you're thinking like, what did he just say to me? Like, are you
Yeah.
serious?
It's
Like you
hard.
haven't been to enough
Yeah.
funerals, you know? Yeah. Anyhow, is there anything at all? First of all, thank you for being such a champ. You've been with me for 2 hours. Is there anything at all that you leave with? Yeah, it's been that. I thought we could talk forever, but is there anything before I my? Oh yes, I want you to use your breathalyzer, your last breathalyzer. So
Oh,
now
you got one little
you
sip.
have breath alcohol. Yeah, so take your last sip. Now you have alcohol in your system, and I'm going to take one too. So now it's been 40 minutes since my last test. I'm going to take one too.
I,
It must be
I
much
do
lower.
another. Use another new one, right?
Yeah, use a new one. Of course, yeah. Yeah.
Got my stash over here.
Your stash. So remember, push it in both sides, right?
Yeah.
Push mine in now. Mine should be less than 0.03. Okay, we do it together.
Got it.
Pushed it in?
Yeah.
Another one? Okay, now yours should be very red because you just had a drink. It should be hot. Oh my God. See? Let me
Wow.
see
Right
it.
away,
Let
right
me
to the top.
Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. So mine is actually at 0.01 right now. Oh yeah. So you're off the charts.
Yeah.
But again, that's not a true reading because that
Yeah.
is your breath. That's pure malt alcohol. That's why it's important to wait 20 minutes after your last drink. Right? And that also includes those rum balls that they have at events, at weddings, because
Which?
that rum balls, you know, those the food that has alcohol in it as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Always, yeah, always keep that in mind too, right? Like a lot of people, they just think I always just drink. No, but you just had a rum ball 10 minutes ago, so it's going to affect your reading.
Yeah.
So my reading right now is actually 0.01.
Right.
It's right. So I would be the designated driver right now.
Yeah.
Works. Can you see? You can see. Ish. Hold on. See?
Yep.
You see the difference between
Clear.
this and where's the old one? Look at the old one. This is the one that we did before, right?
Yeah.
Let's put them side by side. So you see what I mean when I say time matters. Hold on. Let me fix it.
Yeah.
Time matters. You see, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, the light. It's the light. So the only thing that can cure your back. Let me see if I can. Hold on. See if I turn this up. Oh, look, there it is. Better.
Yeah.
The only thing that will actually cure your breath alcohol concentration or your blood alcohol concentration is time. Not coffee, not milk, not winding your window down. Time, not sucking on a penny. Time. Allow it to pass through your body, right? So that's one thing that I always want to tell people. I'm very passionate about that. So, Mark, in closing, what I would like to say is you aren't just an event DJ. You're a curator of emotions, connection, and joy. From humble beginnings in Southern Ontario, you crafted a brand that's known for meticulous planning, unmatched energy, and authentic humanity. You win your wins in the award industry, they are not the result, as you said. They are the goal. They're not the goal, as you said. They were actually the results of your performance. Sorry about that, right? And that's the results from you serving clients with passion, transparency, and generosity. So, for listeners breaking into the events or the entertainment industry, take note. Focus on building trusting relationships, designing emotional resonant experiences, and scaling your service without losing authenticity. Mark's story shows that true success comes when technical excellence meets genuine care. So, to our audience, if you're dreaming of launching your own event business, your DJ career, or just a dynamic team, remember, start with passion, invest in people, and let service be your signature. And Mark, you showed us how to do that in Intune. So thank you so much for sharing your journey, and thank you so much for being here with me and so being so generous with your energy and your time. I can tell the reviews on your site are 100% real. Right?
Thank
So
you. I'm just overwhelmed with your beautiful words. I appreciate that.
thank you so much. Thank you. And they're real. They're real. And they were from
I
researching
can
and looking
tell.
at your LinkedIn as well as on your site and everything. And I was really, really impressed. So thank you for teaching me as well. And thanks for being here.
Thank you, Julia. It's
Thank
beautiful.
you. And we'll see you soon.
We will. Real soon.